So, hi everybody, I'm Matthew from Guitar Brain here. And essentially, what we do is use insights from our understanding of the human brain. We harness technology and we try to produce the best possible outcome for our users, which means mastery of the instrument of guitar. There are a number of insights that I have discovered in my life as a struggling to learn to be a better musician person who just grinded, slamming my head against the wall. And, I spent a lot of years in despair thinking I never had the capability to get good. And there's just been a number of insights that have been really, really crucial that did allow me to eventually gain a lot more skill than I had thought possible. One of the biggest ones is like ear, right? Music is an oral skill. We're creating sound at the end of the day, so that should be kind of foremost to your brain. What you're doing when you're creating music is you should be listening. You should be making sound is your primary focus. And for the longest time in the beginning for me, I didn't have a great ear. So my brain naturally defaulted to other ways of kind of grounding itself and understanding what I was doing. So I found it's like insight that I took me a long time to learn, but the brain is so good at cheating that there are just a million ways that it's like your brain will use your fingertips to try to understand where your fingers are instead. It'll try to count fret notes. It'll try to know note names. Anything it could do to avoid just actually hearing. And so what we got to do in order to build the ear is we have to put your brain in a situation where none of those little crutches will help, you know? And I think you'll find, at least I know I did, that when you give your brain no crutches and you just put it in a situation where it must rely on pitch, suddenly it will start growing in your pitch recognition very quickly. And there's a lot of little insights like that where it consists of isolating a skill and removing all crutches so that your brain is forced to address the problem directly, and suddenly you'll start to see some serious improvement. Also, I noticed that so maybe for an advanced musician, combining a lot of these skills is a primary focus. Like, once you've developed some skills of like some arpeggios and some scales and that kind of thing, to combine them so that you can play them fluidly together, yes, that will be a thing that you'll want to focus on it eventually. But for a huge portion of music learning, it really is a combination of skills, of certain skills that just kind of, a skill will be at a given level, and whatever that level is, it kind of is the ceiling for how good you can be. Ear is definitely a super crucial one, but so is like rhythm, you know? And so I've just really found that there are these different pillars of guitar playing that if we focus on each of them in a way that does not have any crutch, any way to cheat, and you you really you really focus on it every day and just increment it just a little bit every day, as you get those several different pillars start to reach a high level, just naturally you go to play anything, it just starts to sound better and better and better as time goes on. And so that's why I've built this platform, guitarbrain.org. It's getting very close to being fully ready. It's not really like I have a price up right now that's not really supposed to be the true price. That's just, I'm still working on it, so I put kind of a high price tag on there. But basically, though, that's what it does is it uses different things, and also we use a lot of RPG tactics to make things kind of like addictive to the brain to cause you to keep practicing. But then when you do practice in order to gain XP and everything, you're practicing in a very like dedicated, disciplined way where the application is going to not allow you to cheat and cause you to not use any crutches and develop these skills that are the limiting factors for guitar. So it is all, in my opinion, I think very systematic, and it comes from, you know, like one of the things that set me apart, I think, from a lot of other musicians years ago is that I had this extremely organized and kind of like intentional practice routine I would do. And that really helped a ton. And so I'm also attempting, this app is also my attempt at sharing an extremely organized practice routine that, except what makes it even better though is for the app is that like you have all these different items that you're practicing, but every single one of them articulates to where you are right now, and then it will just slowly progress. Like if you're doing like scales, for example, with a metronome, it will always just bump the speed just a little bit, which is exactly how you get fast, just tiny incremental increases in metronome speed. Or the note walking one, which is more about understanding chord tones and stuff like that. It always has you focus on a very tiny piece of the fretboard, and we're narrowing it down to just two chords. So it's like we're getting as simple as humanly possible so that we can get you, even from day one, in a level of mastery where you really know for certain when you are or are not playing a chord tone for the given chord. And then we just try to keep you there so that you're just developing this relationship with these notes, these different chord tones, and where they are within a given harmonic context. And I think that's another way in which my app is just, it just gets you, it gets you to a place where usually most musicians would have to be practicing for 20 years before the first time they experience that. But that's one of my biggest goals for my app is that when you use my app on day one, you're hitting chord tones with a chord change, and that's just so useful for the ear and for a lot of things, for understanding how music is. You know, that's what music is in general. Is this like chord changes? The whole band changes chords together. You know, that's how we are connected to one another. So those chord changes or those chord tones, that's how the lead guitar also kind of makes the statement that he's connected with the rest of the band. Super crucial stuff, you know?